Hey guys, it's officially March 1st, so I thought it would be a great time to make our March TBR together. March is a very, very busy month for me because by the end of the month, I'll be deep into finals. And for the beginning of the month, I think I'm going to do a lot of fantasy books, something a little bit longer, something a little bit heavier, just because it is hard to read fantasy books when you're trying to study and prepare for an exam. You don't want to miss a couple days and then be like, what's happening? I feel like a romance and a literary fiction are a little bit easier to kind of come in and out of. So that is my plan. So I've already done some previous thinking about this and a couple ways I could go about it. I do have a Canva graphic with some books that I was originally thinking of. I'll try to put up on the screen if I remember. First book I think I'm going to start out with is Weaving Shaw. It is a new release. It only released last week. I went and picked it up on release date, and it's something I typically don't do, so I'm very excited. So I'm going to start off this book. I actually started it last night. I only read the first chapter, but I'm very excited to read this. I think it'll be really, really good. It is, I'll just read the synopsis of these instead of me trying to go from my memory. Debut gothic fantasy, a young woman who can see the dead strikes a deal with the magnetic and dangerous Saint of the Silence, a purveyor of dark secrets to save her brother's life. The first book of a trilogy. Super excited. So this will be my first book of the month. Literary fiction book that I got in my Aardvark box, I think the first month I got it, was Is This a Cry for Help by Emily Austen. I really, really want to read this book. I don't know what it is about it. One thing, I love the colors. I love the color scheme of the cover. I think it's great. I've never read an Emily Austen book, but for some reason it just keeps, it's in the back of my mind of, oh my god, I really want to read this. So I think this will be one of my books for this month. I might save it towards the end because it's not that big and it just feels a little bit easier to manage and easier to kind of consume when you're in the middle of studying. I also think it will be funny, and come on, there's a cat. That sounds like something I need when I'm studying. A book that I did not include in my graphic is Superfan. It's another literary fiction. I'm trying to debate if I should do more literary fiction or fantasy this month. And right now it's looking fantasy heavy, but I do think this is a little bit too ambitious. So let's look at this one. So freshman Minnie is adrift at college in Austin, Texas when she discovers a boy band called Hourglass and the online forums that worship them. Of the Hourglass members, she especially loves Halo, whose sharp edges feel somehow familiar. After a brief romance goes awry, Minnie pours everything in her new fandom, clinging to each livestream and bonding with other fans online. But when a scandal threatens to expose Halo to harm, Minnie decides she is the only one who can save them. I think this will be interesting. It's about a fandom and all its magic and terror, and the extreme lengths to which we go to get rid of ourselves of loneliness. This feels a little intense, but I might try it. Again, it's not super long, a little bit easier to kind of digest when you're studying and you're crying all the time. And I'm spending so much time reading about things I don't want to read about. So this is a maybe that I really, really want to read. I don't have the physical copy yet because I'm 99% sure it'll be in my Illumicrate box for February, but it'll be Salt Swept. It's kind of like a ragtag crew of misfits going on this adventure together, and it's kind of pirate themed. I think this would be a really, really good pick. I think a good fantasy book, depending on how long it is, I think I could get it in with Weaving Shaw as well. So that's another book I'm really considering on reading this month. I'm kind of tempted to start this series this month with The City of Bones. So many of my friends have been reading it, and I am having extreme FOMO. I also just missed out on this era of books being released, kind of 2010 to 2020, honestly, because I didn't really start reading until 2025. Kind of want to read this, but it is a little bit long. I don't know if I can fit in 3 fantasy books this month, so this one honestly might get pushed to April because I have a slight suspicion based on Kaylee's reading that I'm gonna want to read them back to back. So that's a good thing for me to consider. So this will also be a maybe. I don't have a physical copy for it, but I will get it on my Kindle. Is The Love Lyric. It is the 3rd book in an interconnected standalone series, kind of following 3 sisters, and they're basically each getting a romance subplot. I'm really excited because it's the 3rd one. I literally just finished the 2nd one yesterday, and I really love these sisters. The first one, The Neighbor Favor, I think will always be my favorite so far because I just love the characters. I love that they're both writers. I really, really enjoyed that. So we'll see, but I really do think I'll like it. I also just love a good romance book. I can usually get them done in like 2-3 days, so I'll probably read that. Next up, I realized I was getting some emails from NetGalley. I just sit down, I go on NetGalley and I just start asking and just start going, I want this arc, I want this arc. I have 2 arcs that I technically need to read this month. My NetGalley score is already pretty low though, so what's it gonna do if I don't do it? So one I'm really considering on reading is Kingdom Will Not Kill Me by Alona Andrews. I'm pretty sure this is a debut. I'll have to double check, but It's like a portal fantasy, and basically I believe she gets put in this like unfinished fantasy novel that she reads herself, and somehow she ends up in this world. I think that's really interesting. I don't think off the top of my head if I've read any portal fantasies, so I do think this is something different, and I think I'll enjoy it. Again, this is another long one, so I think I'm gonna prioritize the Ark, Weaving Shaw, and Salt Swept this month. All of that to say, I believe that my goal TBR, we're gonna say, Weaving Shaw. Is This a Cry for Help by Emily Austen? Super fan if I'm feeling a little ambitious. Once I get my physical copy, I'm also going to try Salt Swept. Digitally, I'm going to try the Ark for This Kingdom Will Not Kill Me, and then I'm going to read the romance book, the love lyric, and that will be my March TBR, hopefully.